Welcome to Outside the Ring. It is October the 11th, 2011. And this is another installment of our popular podcast going on. We don't know where we're putting this. Hopefully on YouTube. And hopefully you guys check it out and dig us. I'm Jason Murphy alongside...
It's Wes Burton. Woo, woo, woo.
Don't ever do that again.
And that's Troy Austin over there with
You
that.
know?
Yes. So we got a lot of stuff going on.
Actually, no, you wouldn't know because I wasn't here last time.
No, you weren't. That is Troy Austin, everybody. Cue the applause sound effect.
Woo!
Yes. So last Friday we did one of these, and we had a lot of comments, quote unquote, from some people saying that we did a good job. So we're going to do this again.
One person.
Hopefully, try to make this kind of a sort of a weekly thing, if not every other week.
Yeah.
Just try to keep you up to date on the wrestling news. I know not many people talk about it, but I mean there's a decent amount out there. But we figured we'd throw our hats in the ring and see what we get out of it.
Now, obviously, we're taping on Tuesday, and a lot of times we don't know when we're going to tape this show. So we have no idea, but we don't have a lot to comment on this week except Monday Night Raw, and there's a lot to comment in good ways and bad ways on that show. But before we get there, let's go to the headlines of the day, and the first one, I know you guys both have a lot to comment on, and
oh yeah.
JR got fired last night again.
Why?
In his hometown.
He got fired by the Executive Vice President of Telerelations, John Laurinaitis.
Mr. Pack of Cigarettes.
Sounds like he eats a pack of cigarettes every day.
He definitely does. AKA Animals. Oh, what a rush. His brother, and former Ohio State linebacker, Animals' son. That would be his uncle, John Laurinaitis. James Laurinaitis, who plays for the Rams. Anyhow, JR gets fired by Mr. Pack of Cigarettes, and then...
Mr. Laryngitis.
Yeah. JR basically he took to Twitter after he got fired on TV.
And before we go into details, I also love it how Laurinaitis came out and said, JR, you're fired. JR was like emotionless, and I'm not sure.
He tipped his hat to him.
Yeah,
Troy.
He tipped his hat to him. I don't get that.
He looks
shocked. And I mean... You can't. He doesn't really look shocked. He can't show that many emotions. No. And I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything with the Bell's palsy that he has. But I mean, it was he just left the ring. He tipped his hat to him.
Usually, when JR gets fired or something, he actually grabs microphones. There's been times in the past where he's like, "Oh my God, I don't believe this."
When
crap,
he came back, I don't remember off the top of my head when he was fired, but he came back and he kind of did a shoot interview in the ring live on Raw. Talking about how Vince McMahon always had it in for him or whatever like that.
Him badly all the time.
Yeah, treated him badly, and saying that he got fired because of the Bell's palsy, which would be illegal. And if you watch Philadelphia, you would see that firing somebody for having an illness like that is completely against the law.
And here we go. This is from JR's Twitter account after the show. Quote, "I may have lost my spot, quote unquote, but I'll never lose my dignity. Proud of my body of work and WWE Universe. I'm amazed and grateful at the support all you have given me tonight. I'm proud of my on-air contributions at WWE. More proud of your support," unquote.
His on-air contributions. If you ask me, Lawler and JR are the best commentating team since Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, no doubt. And not to mention, this whole segment was not part of the final script. No. This was out of nowhere, and a couple people that are close to JR didn't even know this was going to happen.
If it was out of nowhere, did JR even know, or was this a legit firing?
That's what I was getting at. He didn't look shocked per se, but I mean, he had this look on his face where he was just like, wow, did this really just happen?
Yeah, it was more a look of shock and not of, okay, I'm just going with this.
Well, you mentioned if anybody, including his family, knew about this. Ross told a fan on Twitter that it was embarrassing for his wife and that they were both, quote, blindsided. They had no idea.
She's sitting in the front row.
And here's the thing. Vince McMahon must have this thing with he loves embarrassing people in their hometowns, except for CM Punk.
Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
At not the last pay-per-view, Night of Champions, losing again to Kelly
yep.
by a roll-up. A roll up.
What's more embarrassing, losing to Kelly Kelly, period, or by a roll up?
Oh, the roll up is so much worse. Honestly, the roll ups are kind of cheap.
That's one of her best moves.
She stole it from Heath Slater.
Who's got more moves, John Cena or Kelly Kelly? That is the question of the week for you guys.
Kelly Kelly is the female John Cena.
There you go.
And when she attacked Beth and sounded like a friggin' Hellcat.
Yes.
Is anybody really believing that?
Not really. Not really. But at least John Cena looks intimidating. Kelly Kelly, you just want to take her out.
Kelly Kelly looks like she should be in like a
Barbie doll commercial.
Yeah, a Barbie commercial or like a Gap commercial.
Absolutely.
Like one of them iPod commercials with like the headphones, like black with the background.
Speaking of intimidating, Brock Lesnar. Nice segue there.
Here comes the pain.
On whether he will ever appear for WWE again, if you didn't know, THQ, their new game coming out, WWE 12, Brock Lesnar.
Awesome.
Yes, Brock Lesnar is now in the game. Confirmed in the new game. And
also,
he's a UFC star, guys.
Yeah, but from what I've understood, they have to portray him as Brock Lesnar, the wrestler, not the MMA fighter, because apparently UFC has a trademark on that. He's got like action figures or something, and I didn't even know they made UFC action figures or whatever.
So does that mean that he won't even have the tattoo?
No,
on his chest?
From what I've heard, he will not have the sword tattoo on his chest,
which he got during his days in UFC.
Yeah, but he will have that really awesome skull tattoo on his back.
And it's interesting because they did interview him, and Lesnar was asked if he would ever return and who he'd like to wrestle. Can you guess who that would be?
Undertaker.
No.
Really?
Which I would like to see.
After all that stuff a while ago about with Undertaker and him staring each down?
Steve Austin. Stone Cold. And he says, he goes on to quote this here. Ironically, it's probably the guy that walked out on me, the guy that took his ball and went home, a guy that I was supposed to face, and I think that he was just plain downright scared to get in the ring with me because he was one of those guys that was on top, saw I was a huge threat. And he goes on and on and on. And I don't know if this looks to me like a shoot, but I thought these guys were pretty cool. Steve has been to many of the UFC fights.
Oh yeah.
The Rock's been there.
Undertaker's been to him.
Lesnar is a good friend.
Like I said earlier, Lesnar and Undertaker had that kind of stare down after one of the fights.
Which we don't know if that was a straight shooter, if Taker and him are cool.
And of course, if you don't know, Lesnar is married to Rena Mero, Sable. So, and she still looks pretty damn good for almost 50 years old.
So do you guys think this is a work? Like he's trying to call out Stone Cold maybe?
I sort of do.
I don't know.
I don't know if there's any beef. Now, what he's talking about here is interesting because Stone Cold did not. One of the big reasons Stone Cold walked out in 2002 was basically what Lesnar's talking about. He did not want to do the job to Brock when Brock was on his way up, and Stone Cold didn't like the way his character was going. He took off. That's interesting.
And what that sounds like to me, and I'm not saying that Austin was only out for himself, but it sounds like Austin had no faith in Lesnar, which was
giving him the push, the rub.
Yeah,
the right rub.
And that was extremely wrong because Lesnar came out to be a huge success in the company.
Absolutely.
I mean, what other spot do you remember of Big Show and Lesnar on SmackDown when the ring broke, the ring exploded?
Well,
and I was actually reading on that a little bit ago, and they actually didn't tell the announcers that it was going to happen.
No,
because if you listen carefully, this was back when Taz was on commentary. He lets
My God, Cole!
No. Yeah, if it was
hey,
JR,
Cole.
it would have been. No, if Taz actually let a word slip that can't be said on radio
Holy
or on TV. Yeah. And they didn't tell him because they wanted that real effect,
and they could go back and edit it.
Yeah.
So that was the good thing about being on SmackDown.
That's why they put Sin Cara on SmackDown because you could edit out all of his screw ups.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I was going to say, speaking of screw-ups, I'm going to leave that segue under the table. John Morrison's future in WWE.
Here we go.
And Zack Ryder, your boy, woo.
You know it.
Your push, you blew it.
Not being on Raw again. You probably noticed here in recent weeks, Raw superstar, I use that term loose, as lightly as I can, superstar John Morrison has been losing much more than usual. Troy, you have a name for John Morrison. It would be
Job Morrison.
Morrison.
When is the last time that he won?
Pretty much.
Well, he came back and beat R-Truth.
Yeah, that was about the first time in like how long? The second match after he came back. Even after coming back from an injury, he couldn't get the win.
No. Now there's strong talk going around that John Morrison's not going to resign. He's kind of mad at the company.
Honestly, if you ask me, if there's anyone that he should be mad at, it's his
ex-girlfriend, or actually current girlfriend. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard things about. She broke up with him. He broke up with her. They're back together. I don't know, so I'm just going to say girlfriend. Blame her. Blame Melina. Mm-hmm. She's the one that snubbed Trish Stratus at WrestleMania.
Yep.
She wanted to be in the match, but instead the company said that they wanted Trish in there,
right.
And Melina got all mad and just started acting a fool.
Yeah.
And Morrison apparently, is so whipped by Melina that he is going to follow her to the ends of the earth, and he started thinking the same thing. Mm-hmm. So in essence, John Morrison snubbed Trish Stratus through Melina, and you don't snub a woman like Trish Stratus.
No, not at all. So how do you think, like, when he's going through the motions, like, backstage before, like, he's going out there and losing constantly, how do you think how does he react to that? You don't see it on his face, like, in the matches, but it has to be bothering him going out there.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody.
I really don't know. I can only imagine before and after the matches, he just kind of hangs his head as he's walking through the back, or as he's parkouring through the back.
Training sessions in the backstage anymore?
Yeah, that was actually a really good thing that I liked when they would show him doing like his parkour stuff.
Not to mention making one of his ridiculous T-shirts in the back.
The Jomo Sapiens.
They should just have him. I mean, maybe they're just trying to get rid of this guy for some reason we don't know.
They're just trying to almost embarrass him to the point of where he will just say, you know what, I'm done. I quit.
And now Zack Ryder, who's got a following.
I'm out of this conversation.
He was not booked on Raw for the second week in a row and wrote to following on Twitter, on his Twitter page, quote, "Pin the U.S. champ, Dolph Ziggler, 2 weeks in a row, and now I've been off Raw for 2 weeks in a row. Doesn't make sense. At least Rosa Mendez was booked tonight."
Yeah, because people really care about Rosa Mendez.
I think I don't know if he was being funny there or whatever.
But, the thing is, though, he's got that web show, Z whatever crap. I don't care what it's actually called.
Long Island Story.
Whatever. But no, I actually watched his latest episode, 34, I think it was, something like that. Only because there was Dolph Ziggler was on it.
Yeah,
and
on the last couple ones.
Okay, see, I didn't know that, but from what I saw, Ziggler was on there. He did like the cut in, like a screen went staticky, and he's talking about how you'll never get a shot at this title unless I want you to have a shot, which will be never. You're nothing, kid. Blah blah blah, all that, and then he goes back to the thing, and then Dolph Ziggler proceeds to just straight up kill a dude on the thing.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting.
I mean, Ryder's sitting there talking. He hears a big thud. And then he goes out into like his living room, and his like brother or
it's just his roommate.
Oh, it's his roommate, whatever.
Chiapetta is his last name.
Oh,
what is it?
Chiapetta.
Chiapetta?
Yeah.
What the hell kind of name is Chiapetta?
Chiapetta, Chia Pet.
Sounds like those things where the grass.
Chia Pet, yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Jesus.
But either way,
you have to water him on a daily basis.
I think I know Ziggler's got talent.
Oh yeah, and there's people that say, "Oh, Ziggler can't talk. He's horrible on the mic." Watch the last couple episodes of Z True Long Island Story, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
I will say,
and you will find out that he can talk.
The one good thing that Zack Ryder is doing is he is getting people over that aren't on WWE programming.
Exactly.
Himself, obviously, but not only that, Dolph Ziggler is getting mic time. And then they'll have like John Cena, William Regal doing funny things. It is what it is. I applaud him.
Primo was on the show before.
Primo, another guy that's not getting used.
Primo, there's a
Kurt Hawkins.
Hawkins, I'll give you, is pretty good.
I think I appreciate somebody that like us, going on YouTube and just trying to put himself over. That's, but, in I don't know. He's doing his best to get his fellow guys over. That's cool. But let's go on, because I think that's a lot of
it's going to get caught up.
Zack Ryder talk here.
Yeah, we're running a bit short on time. We haven't even touched on Raw yet. Actual Raw.
Right.
Still in the
so
headlines.
I'm not going to touch much on this too much. Hulk Hogan says he's not going to take bumps at Battle for Glory.
What a shocker! brother.
Hogan basically saying at his latest Hogan and Friends event. I don't even know what that is. It's
Hogan and Friends. It sounds like a Saturday morning TV
Did you
show.
see where he was charging people to take pictures with him?
I did not know that.
He was charging him $100 to take one picture with him, and they said nobody was taking pictures.
Crap!
Gotta pay the bills,
Hogan
brother.
still after your ex-wife takes basically everything from you. You got.
I would charge
$500.
$500. Just saying.
Yeah, you'd have people laughing in your face.
Now, Hulk Hogan, at this event in Allentown, PA, he told his friends he won't be taking any bumps, mentioned that he won't be taking any bumps at all.
And if he takes a bump the wrong way, you could die.
He could, which is likely why the no DQ stipulation was added to the match. Now, look, Hogan, just retire. I've been saying it for years and years.
No, he
got
didn't
nothing
really
to prove.
Retire.
No, he didn't.
If you watch the whole thing on TNA, it was all a ruse.
Yeah.
Because, crazy, whacked out Joker Sting comes out in his red suit and yellow shoes, says he's got, GTV footage or some crap.
Does that mean during the match, like, when Sting wants to hit any kind of move on him at all?
Do you remember?
So basically, what it's going to have to be
Bret Hart versus Vince McMahon from last
WrestleMania.
2 WrestleManias ago.
God, that was
Bret
horrible.
couldn't take a bump. It was a bad match.
That's why they had the entire
they had the
Hart
whole-
family turn on Hogan.
They have to have this match. I would have never done it. Hogan should just, if you're going to use Hogan on air, have him be the owner guy, whatever. Put new talent over. I don't mind Hogan being on there, but for goodness sakes, you got to put over your main event.
The way I see that match ending is
Hogan's not going to win. I don't think.
No.
Well, Hogan isn't going to win, but I see it as happening like this. Sting is somehow going to get Hogan down on his back, either
hopefully not crippling the guy.
Yeah, whether that be, gingerly laying him down or going up against the ropes, whatever.
I can't see him putting the scorpion on him.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say he's going to put it on him, but he's not going to wrench on it. I think Hogan would tap out almost immediately.
I would think, yeah, he'd have to.
Because he can't hit the death drop on him, because that would shatter his back into pieces.
Are both his hips artificial anyway?
Well, I know after he picked up Andre way back in
WrestleMania 3,
he still has a bad back from that, guys. He legitimately picked Andre up. Andre couldn't jump.
But he also gave us one of the most memorable wrestling moments ever.
Absolutely. And he paid for it. He's still paying for it.
So I got to ask you real quick. Do you think the match goes on last? I already asked him.
What, the Hogan Sting match?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You think so?
It's Hogan. He's just. It's Hogan. He's just like Triple H. He wants the spotlight. He wants that main event spot.
He doesn't.
It would be such a mess up if they put that match on last. I'm going to say we'll see what happens after this.
What are the other matches? I don't even know, because I haven't watched TNA in like 3 weeks.
Bobby Roode and Kurt Angle. That's the only one I know.
I know about that. That should be a pretty good match.
AJ,
Samoa Joe, Crimson, and
Samoa Joe and Crimson,
Matt Morgan.
Samoa Joe, Crimson, and Matt Morgan.
AJ versus Daniels in an I Quit match. That's as far as I know.
Yeah, I did hear about that too.
We'll go over that. I'm sure we're going to read the results next week. Okay, I got a question for you guys. Remember Tyson Tomko?
No.
He was with Christian for a little while. He was a bodyguard. He did some time in TNA. Now he's doing hard time.
And he got fat.
He got a little chunky. He's 38.
Now.
Well, check this out. TMZ.com reports that his real name, Travis Tyson Tomko, 38, was arrested in Florida on Monday after law enforcement discovered the former star injecting himself with stolen pain medicine while hiding inside the bathroom of a Chili's restaurant. Big up to Chili's, by the way.
Don't besmirch Chili's. I love Chili's.
At least do it at Applebee's.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Applebee's or go to like... go somewhere besides Chili's. Go to Old Barn Out
There's
Back
really
or
not
something.
much out to say about this. He's currently behind bars in St. Johns County Jail. Bond was set at $7,500. He was known as the problem solver.
7,000? That's it?
Yeah.
$7,500. That's it.
Let me ask you a question. Would you rather be Tyson Tomko in jail or John Morrison doing jobs?
Oh, I'd
right
rather
now?
be John Morrison because I don't like the thought of jail.
No, I don't either, and he will not be.
Plus Morrison.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Even though Morrison is jobbing, he's getting squashed, and he's getting these horrible shirts made for him. He's still making money.
Oh, absolutely. And John Morrison still gets a pop.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. He still gets a legitimate pop from the fans.
That guitar riff and his music hits the crowd.
There's a pop. There's a pop. But no doubt, Miz went way higher than John Morrison.
Oh, yeah. John Morrison is the Marty.
Who would have thought?
John Morrison.
I would have never saw Miz going higher.
John Morrison is the Marty Jannetty of that tag team.
Absolutely. I can't believe I'm saying that. But I thought John Morrison, when they teamed up, was going to go farther.
But you look at Miz. I mean, he started on The Real World, acting an idiot. I'm the Miz. People on the show calling him a moron, an idiot, and all that. Then he got on WWE TV. Granted, he started as the host for the Divas Search. And if you go to YouTube and look up his first appearance on SmackDown, he's all over the place.
He is.
He's so flustered. He's got the phone numbers written on his hand, and he's still messing up. And look at where he is now.
No.
I give it up to him. He went a long way, paid his dues.
Plus, he's from Cleveland. So we
Cleveland.
gotta love the home state boy.
He's from Cleveland.
Yeah, he chased his dream.
Yeah. So Tyson,
hey, he's bringing more championships in than the
Browns and
the Cavs. Yeah,
no doubt about it. But now. So Tyson Tomko, just wrapping up that story, he's a problem solver. He was the problem solver. That was his nickname, and now he will be solving all kinds of problems for inmates in jail. Anyways, back. I'm going to not touch that, literally. Last but not least, Eddie Guerrero, his birthday.
Rest his soul.
Sunday.
He was Sunday, yep. It was his birthday. He was 44. He would have been 44. Big ups to Eddie, one of the best wrestlers. I don't care what anybody says.
I firmly think that if he was still alive today, the company would be a lot better than it is.
I think so. I'd hope they'd push him because I think towards the end of before his passing, they did the thing with Ray, but it wasn't where he was. He was at the top when he beat Lesnar, and he kind of slid down a little bit, but
his way back up.
Yeah,
and the night that him and Benoit both won their respective world titles, that was a great night.
It was one of the best endings to WrestleMania.
Yes.
I think WrestleMania 20 was probably one of the best top 5 WrestleManias.
Definitely.
Wrestling on the show. Look at the card.
Yeah,
it was everybody.
Yeah,
on that
it was
show.
everybody. And then look where 7 years gets you.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 27 sucked.
Yeah.
The main selling point was The Rock.
Which
that was it.
Obviously helped because they did sell a lot of tickets. But the show sucked.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's play
also,
a clip here.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
We're talking about Eddie, and we also talked about Brock Lesnar being in the WWE game. And if you look online, it's thq.wwe.com.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, sorry. Cheap pop. Bang, bang. But no, they got the full roster has been revealed, save for Lesnar and a few other DLC people.
Right.
And they've got, entrances, finishing moves, the greatest moments of their career.
Right.
And I want to talk about Eddie first, and then I'll get to someone else later.
Sure.
Eddie, he's probably the best looking one in the game, but his frog splash bothers me.
Really?
Because it's the 5-star frog splash that Rob Van Dam had. It's not Eddie Guerrero's frog splash. And honestly, I see that as kind of an insult.
Well, you know what? You make it. I think you make a good point. Not that I'm a video game expert creator of anything.
I am. I'm not a creator. I just play a lot of games.
I will tell you this. I think you gave me an idea. Maybe THQ can put this into one of their future games. I like, if you ever play the NBA 2K games, they've been starting to do these Jordan Challenges modes where they go back in time and you see like Michael Jordan's greatest games and you relive them. You play them.
They did that
How cool would that be?
They did that in All-Stars.
They did. That's true. But how cool would it be?
But actually have it in a
wrestling
No, it wasn't
game.
in All Stars. It was in.
They kind of did it in wrestling. It wasn't. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was, but how cool would it be to actually maybe like make the old ring and just bring you back in time? Maybe have like the top 15 matches of all time. Have JR and King,
Rock and Austin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hogan and
Legends
Andre.
of WrestleMania sort of touched on that.
Yeah,
but not good. I don't think they could have did better. They really could.
Yeah, but the other thing I was talking about in the game is Kevin Nash.
Yeah,
his model looks good. His entrance is good. He's not Diesel. He's Big Daddy Cool Kevin Nash. But they have the YouTube videos of his greatest moments. I want you to take a wild guess what the WWE saw as Kevin Nash's greatest moment of his career.
A high five to Shawn Michaels.
No.
We lost to Undertaker.
Yeah.
There wasn't too many. Beating Mabel.
No.
Oh, no.
Well, I'll mind you, this is not just his WWE.
WCW?
Yes, it includes his entire.
Was it when he snapped Goldberg's streak?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Wow.
Honestly,
I forgot about
honestly, he's done much better. Because how do you take that?
Yeah.
It was a tainted win.
Yeah.
Hall came in with the stun gun, or the stun baton, whatever, the cattle prod.
That was
How do you
stupid.
take that?
Yeah. I don't understand it. I don't get that. But
Whatever.
let's play a clip, guys. This is from Monday Night Raw last night. We have a lot to comment on that show. But let's. This was at the beginning of the night. To set the stage, Triple H, CM Punk, John Cena, Sheamus are like the only guys that show up to the event, which is hilarious.
And Randy
There's
Orton was nowhere to be
No,
found.
Randy Orton-
Randy had the comments on SmackDown that
Yeah.
if he had a problem with Triple H, he'd say it to his face.
Randy Orton wasn't there. Big
Alex
Show
Riley
was also supposed to be
reference
there. Yeah,
Big
Alex
Show was
Riley.
supposed to be there, yeah.
So here it is. This is just the four of them in the ring. It was actually probably the highlight of the entire show. It's really funny stuff.
So I'm not out here tonight to tell you that you're my best friend. I'm here to tell you that you're my boss. I'm staying. I came here to be part of Monday Night Raw!
I've been at the epicenter of anything controversial ever since you took over. Actually, since before that. I'm sure you remember, John Boy.
I was there.
You were there. I'm the guy that made walking out look cool.
So there you go. That was the beginning of Monday Night Raw. How do you guys want to do this? Should we go through the matches? There wasn't a lot of wrestling. I don't have it written down. Do you remember?
Sorry, don't you mean there wasn't a lot of entertaining?
There wasn't a lot of entertaining.
No.
This Raw, before we got on the air today on YouTube, we kind of were all in agreement. The beginning was good. The ending was pretty good.
The
Everything
middle was
in
total
between
garbage.
was
it was
garbage.
it was a crap sandwich.
Yes.
The good parts on the end and the crap in the middle.
And I told Wes, Troy was not here last week, but I told Wes that, by golly, this Raw could be so good.
By golly,
I was
Gee
hyped.
Willikers, this Raw would be
Gee
good.
Willikers.
It didn't live up to your expectations. Huh?
Not at all. I do know.
After last week's when they walked out, I thought that was a really good Raw.
It was a good. The wrestling, not so much though. The wrestling was still bad. The main event had a lot of good wrestling, and we were shocked. It got like 15 minutes for WWE to give a match. 15 minutes now
that isn't on pay-per-view.
right
on
is
air.
shocking.
Yeah.
But it didn't live up to expectations. And you have Wes over here actually wrote down the card.
He's more prepared than either me or Jason.
I took a few notes.
All right, so what do we got?
He's got like 3 pages of it.
So the Raw opens up. Triple H is out there with Sheamus, Cena, and CM Punk. Punk's doing commentary. That was awesome.
Oh, that
for
was great.
2 minutes.
And he's the whole thing with him saying,
Yeah.
I got one. He has Triple H. I got one question for you. Can I wear a blazer? Because he does. That's his thing when he's on commentary. And Triple H says, "Oh yeah, I'll let you even wear my blazer." And just the look of utter joy on his face,
like a kid at Christmas time. CM Punk with a lot of pipe bombs in front of him. Unfortunately, didn't get too much time because Vince McMahon,
came
aka
back.
Poopy Pants, comes out walking
Poopy
down.
Pants.
His walk.
Knuckle dragging.
He goes
Monkey.
down, basically tells Triple H in a nutshell that he's fired.
He basically
Pretty much for COO.
The old saying goes, "Turnabout is fair play." That's exactly what Triple H got.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Cigarette Man, John Laurinaitis.
John Laurinaitis, the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations. We get it, John. We know your title.
Right. He is
the make sense about that. They haven't even. They just completely just ignore the fact that they had that computer out there for what the.
Oh
last
yeah, the
year and a
anonymous Raw
half.
GM
And
is
what-
just gone.
He just disappeared.
That will probably never be brought up
Never
again.
ever
No.
get
Except
the
on this
podium.
show.
The podium was at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
It was.
And then at Raw, nothing.
It's gone.
It was weird.
It's like they want us to forget, but at the same time, they're like, maybe not.
But either way, he's the new guy, the new COO,
Interim general manager. Yeah,
interim
he's not the-
GM. There's
he's-
no COO
yeah, there's
right
no
now.
COO right now. John Laurinaitis is the interim GM of Raw.
And in a
And
lot of ways,
I found it funny when Laurinaitis, when the superstars were coming back in from their was it the Solidarity rally?
In the parking lot.
You know, he's shaking people's hands. Dolph Ziggler walks by him. He's like, good to see you, Dolph. And Dolph, being the smart ass that he is, just says, whatevs.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard at that. I don't know why. I guess it just caught me at the right moment, but that was funny.
I just think it was really funny that they're all walking in the building, and I don't know if you guys noticed this. I'm pretty sure Sin Cara, now they're outside in the parking lot. It's not really
a big park. They showed it one time. They were all just huddled around.
It's not really cold out there yet.
No.
But Sin Cara walks in the building, and he's got his wrestling tights on, no shirt. Like,
no,
what if
Sin Cara both Sin Caras had did they have suits on? They had shirts.
They did.
They didn't have
but there was a couple wrestlers near the back of the line.
Triple H even made the comment
that they had their
gear on. But
they had their gear on, but they weren't prepared to wrestle.
Yes,
either that or maybe he meant that they had their gear, like brought it with them. But I just find it funny that Sin Cara was out there in the nice suit, pants, and the mask.
Yeah, exactly. That is
like he walks
weird.
around everywhere with that mask on.
Well, when them guys came out, though, didn't they, they're trying to take this whole, the walkout situation to, the whole next level. Like, why'd they come out with, their entrance music? Don't you think that should have been kind of,
Yeah.
It was weird. But either way, speaking of people in their street clothes, the first match of the night is Christian against Job Morrison. And I wonder who won that match. And how long was that match, Mr. West?
Total time of 2.5 minutes.
So you got great wrestling.
2.5.
Two guys that can obviously work. They got about 2.5 minutes. Christian wins. Then they beat down.
Technically the second match. Cena and Sheamus had
that match never ended, though.
Yeah, that match was
had a beginning,
stupid.
Actually, so.
So either way, Christian goes over, which is fine with me.
He actually won with the spear. He's never pinned anybody with the spear, I don't believe.
I don't think he has.
I don't think so.
That
well, go figure. He beat John Morrison.
He beats Morrison with it.
What was match 2?
That was the second match, and then the third.
Did we have a segment at all?
There was a segment in between there with Laurinaitis and Triple H talking, and then they cued to Mark Henry in the ring, and he showed his recap of Big Show, which led to Randy Orton.
Hey, I'm the world champion.
And I
have a Snicker bar.
Henry? Oh, yeah. Kool-Aid, man. He's been in the company 15 years. Okay, I get it. If you ask me, this is a retirement push.
It's like a Christmas present.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if that's the case, if that's what they're doing with Henry, I want to see William Regal with the title, one of them, before he retires.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, good
William
mention,
Regal is infinitely better than Mark Henry.
Oh, absolutely.
Has he ever been in the ring? William Regal. Have they even put him in the ring? Do they put him on NXT, right?
He wrestles on NXT, yeah. Him and JTG apparently have a feud going on. Yeah, that's a big blockbuster feud there.
That's huge.
You know, it's awesome.
They ruined JTG when they got rid of Shad and Prime
pretty
Time
much.
was broken up.
Pretty much.
Mark Henry, though, when he came out to the ring and he cued that video package from SmackDown, I don't understand, why do they always cue the video package showing them getting taken out? They always have to show that. Like, Big Show chokeslammed him through the announce table.
He was doing it to make
look at me get
he was doing it to make a point, because he even in the promo following, he said, I took all that punishment and all that beating, and I'm still here.
Yeah,
that was his point.
It was
he wanted to show what all he took, but he's still there. He's still kicking.
Yeah. So say what you want, how they built the guy up. Mark Henry, still the champ. He beat. Actually, he had a match, a decent match with Randy Orton. But it was how long?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Now that's TV time for one of their big matches. I have given Orton a lot of credit in the last few months. He's really made a believer out of me. The guy can work. Yeah. I mean, dude, he can make a good match out of Mark Henry. That's saying something, because I got news for you. The Big Show Mark Henry match at Vengeance is going to be a disaster.
Crap.
It's going to
no DQ.
Yeah. It could be. It could be.
It might end up being there.
But Orton and Christian had a great feud going. It looks like Christian's kind of feuding with maybe John Morrison now. I don't know. I think him and Sheamus are not going to.
I think that whole stable there of Christian, Ziggler, Cody, and David Otunga,
and
All-American,
Mr. List,
and Jack Thwagger.
Yes.
I think that they're just going around beating people up, which is kind of counterintuitive to Triple H providing an unsafe work environment.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is funny, because Triple H providing that unsafe working environment, and then they go and beat up John Morrison. So aren't you against that? I guess it's like you said, they're contradicting.
Yeah.
They don't mind as long as it's not happening to them.
Exactly.
Which I understand where they're going. But either way.
It's like what Triple H said when they walked out, when Wade Barrett spoke up, and he said, he brought up the Nexus, and he said that, you're the only reason you're against this is because you're not the one causing this chaos.
Which was a good point, even though it's scripted.
It shut Wade Barrett up, I'll say that.
It did.
And just an off note here, they ruined Wade Barrett. He could have been so much
We could
more.
have a whole show on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have a whole show on a lot of these guys and how they pretty much just ruin them.
Don't work with any of them.
So Randy Orton loses because Cody Rhodes runs in, beats him up.
He won by DQ.
Oh, Randy Orton wins.
Yeah.
But Cody runs in, beats up Randy Orton pretty
Hits
good.
the Crossroads. And then it has the most stupidest ending segment I can remember. I don't know if you guys know where I'm going. Yeah.
He starts laughing, but it almost seems like it's fake.
Nah.
It's fake?
He was really? He was forcing it, though.
It was a forced laugh.
It was a Dr. Doom laugh. It was supposed to be like an evil, maniacal laughter, but it just came off.
It
as
made me laugh.
hilarious.
It made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
React to it well though. At all. No,
Yeah, it was kind of
Cody,
exactly.
and I don't know if you've noticed this, but when before Cody Rhodes got his current gimmick, the grotesque Cody Rhodes, whatever, he spoke normally. Now that he's always talking like this,
He's almost like Batman in The Dark Knight. He changes his voice.
I'm Batman. Viper and Venom will leak.
He's
very good.
He's using his big boy voice.
It's interesting. It's kind of weird.
It is weird.
But let's just move on, that whole segment. So far, Raw has sucked. Let's go to the next match.
Speaking of sucking, here comes the Divas.
Wait a minute. It was Kelly and Rosa, or Kelly and Eve versus Rosa and Tamana.
You said it wrong.
Tamina.
Tamana.
Oh,
Tamana.
Because she looks like a man.
Here's the thing with me, and we hit it on this last week. How many times have we seen Kelly and Eve against like Beth Phoenix and Natalia? Like 4 times, 5
together.
times?
Yeah.
So they're just throwing divas together, trying to make Kelly and Eve look like a credible diva team.
I will say one thing. At least this match on Raw didn't end with a roll-up. Eve actually hit her moonsault and actually finished the match with a finish.
I don't think Eve is bad.
It looked pretty decent, except she busted her knees.
Yeah, it was.
Trust me, her knees probably can take the abuse. Same with Kelly.
Kelly
sure.
with the patented bulldog miss. Every time she goes for the bulldog, she jumps and the other person goes down and it looks awkward.
Yeah.
So there's not much to comment in there. Kelly and Eve
Again,
win.
this just goes to show you that the WWE, when it comes to divas, really doesn't care about ring ability.
No.
They're
absolutely
they're
not.
basically eye candy.
Absolutely not.
It's just filler. That's
So
all.
what happened after that?
And then after that, right after the match ended, Johnny Ace, Funk Man, came on out, and then he booked Cena and Del Rio for the title. What a shocker of Vengeance! And then he called our buddy, good old JR, into the ring.
Yeah, we hit on this earlier. We don't want to go too much in depth, but they fired JR again on TV. A lot of people didn't know about it.
And again,
I do want to hit on this,
still
guys.
don't understand it. Laurinaitis said it was because he walked out on Triple H. He had no confidence, and he saw that as ungrateful and an insult.
Yeah.
Booker T, Michael Cole, and Jerry Lawler all walked out on Triple H, along with
half the
51
roster.
other guys, including ring crew, the timekeeper, the bell ringer, the camera guys, the wrestlers.
Yeah, but they pick on JR, and this is something I really want to talk about. I want to hit on this real quick. Michael Cole is the most annoying person I've ever heard on television. You can go, I'm talking Monday Night Football crew, I'm talking wrestling, boxing, MMA. You can go to the annals of the NBA. I'd rather listen to 20 hours of Charles Barkley by himself.
That's terrible.
If it's got an announcer, he's worse than that.
Michael Cole is awful. And
Michael Cole almost makes me upset to be a fan of The Miz.
Yes, he marks out like a boy, like a schoolboy.
Every time The Miz comes out, Cole is riding his nuts. It's kind of harsh language, but it's true.
Yeah.
Before the show, the way he carries himself, his antics throughout the show is just annoying and it just rubs people the wrong way.
Guys, he is a heel commentator, but the problem
and it's
is
sad that Cole and Vicky Guerrero get the most heat out of anybody on the roster.
And I said that, too. Here's the thing.
What does that say about the roster?
Bobby Heenan was a heel commentator, but Bobby Heenan put over the other guys. Michael Cole puts over Michael Cole.
Bobby Heenan was funny with his heel
Exactly.
antics. Cole is just flat out annoying.
You have to watch it with the mute button on now.
And this is the part of Raw.
Booker T ain't much better. Booker T's funnier, but
Booker T's at least funny.
Oh, shucky ducky, quack, quack.
Booker T. He's Booker T. You know, he's not trying to be the next lead guy on Raw or SmackDown. He's Booker T. My thing is, this is the part of Raw I'm saying to myself, are they trying to just kill the audience? I understand that they're trying to put Johnny Ace in this heel role. Everybody loves JR.
He's already got a heel role. If you notice, when he came out, he has no music.
No.
And he's up.
People see him and automatically boo.
Yes, and your smart fans like us and other people that are smart wrestling fans have hated this guy for years because he's got rid of a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Like CM Punk mentioned.
No.
Here's the thing, though. They just killing Raw by getting rid of JR again and having, in my opinion, one of the worst combinations ever in Lawler and Michael Cole again on Raw, where none of those guys, neither one of them call a move.
You know somebody is going to be brought in, whether it be Josh Matthews.
Who's not bad.
He's not bad. Booker T.
But why not JR? What is their beef with Jim Ross?
My only thought is that his Bell's palsy is acting up again and he has to take time off for
I hope not
operation or whatever.
And if that's the case, I totally understand why they're taking him off TV. But this is, according to JR again on Twitter, surprised.
Yeah.
Unless he was just working the fans. I don't know what's going on. But again, this is the part of Raw I'm like, wow, I want to switch the channel.
They like to do that though on like Twitter and Facebook. They'll stay in character.
They will. And I know Cena's pretty good at that. The Rock is obviously really good. Their feud going back and forth in Twitter. But I don't know. I don't know if JR
I wouldn't
was
know
shooting
about that
there.
because I don't have Twitter.
Well,
shocker, I don't have Twitter. I think it's stupid. Sorry.
Well,
Back on topic.
anyways, what happened next?
And then they came back from break. They went to the 6-man tag match, which featured David A-List, Otunga, Jack Swagger.
He wouldn't be in the company if it wasn't for his wife.
No.
Right.
Versus Airboom and
Zigzwag.
The guy
That's what I call him.
Nice, very nice.
Zigzwag.
Nice name. And Mason Ryan. So.
Mason Ryan, a.k.a. Batista 2.0.
Batista.
He's actually bigger than Batista. Honestly, if you cut Mason Ryan's hair off, do it. Hey, send us pictures on YouTube. He will look, I guarantee it, just like Batista.
Yes, he will.
All he's doing, he's missing the belly button tattoo. I still don't know why Batista had. That was stupid.
I don't
I don't know if
understand.
you guys caught it, but as soon as Ryan got tagged in, he went and tried to put Swagger in some kind of weird turnbuckle move. I don't know if you guys missed that.
Oh yeah, where he tried to do the
Yeah.
snake eyes,
He
and then
completely put him on the the turnbuckle, and he just was like holding him.
kinda
He's like,
stood
all right, this
there.
isn't working. Let's go to the other one.
Yeah,
and
it
try
was
the
bad.
exact same thing again. But it actually worked. He actually got him up in
Well, the
tied
funny
up in
thing
the
was
ropes.
Air Boom was wearing green outfits, which is ironic because Mason Ryan is about as green as it comes in the ring.
About as green as goat
yeah.
beef.
You know what? Yeah.
The only thing I would do with Mason Ryan on an off subject, I'd put him against Batista. I would.
You wouldn't be able to tell who's who.
No, it'd be funny, and maybe if Batista would come back for one more match, that's the guy you'd put him against.
Yeah.
Period.
I know.
That's it.
I know you won't like this, but it
has to do with Zack Ryder.
Yes,
I'll
it
punch
does.
you.
It always comes back to Ryder. It's very upsetting to know that he was getting his mini push, and now it's getting pushed back. It looks
pushed.
like by Mason Ryan, who has no crowd influence, no connection to the crowd, and at least Ryder can sell merchandise.
You know, here's my thing. Mason Ryan is back. Where the hell is Skip Sheffield?
From the Nexus,
isn't he still hurt?
I don't.
Because they said he's had 3 separate surgeries.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
But I remember Skip Sheffield.
He's a big boy.
His corn-fed meathead was kind of dumb, and his yup, what it do? I couldn't stand that. But later on, when he was in the Nexus, he was actually pretty
He was good.
Well, that injury where he shattered his ankle and they said he hasn't recovered yet.
You said 3 separate surgeries for that?
3 different surgeries, I believe.
Wow. So what happened after that big time match? Oh, by the way, who won that? Mason Ryan.
Mason Ryan hit his finisher that's yet to be named. That looks.
It's a gorilla press.
The move that
swinging swinging fall away.
The move
slam.
half the big guys on the roster use.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Well, and then I believe this was a segment where they previewed John Cena's new movie.
Oh,
yes,
another WWE movie that will be in theaters
it's
for
called,
a week.
What is it? The Reunion?
Yes.
The Reunion in select theaters. In other words, put it straight to DVD. Nobody's watching
at
the damn
Walmart
thing.
Yes,
the
at
next
Walmart,
week.
yeah.
It's only exclusive at Walmart, guaranteed.
What is the last WWE movie that got a theatrical release?
The Marine?
Wow.
No.
A full-blown theatrical release.
No, I don't know if any of them really did.
I know See No Evil did.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's probably...
I don't remember.
I thought the Marine was in most theaters.
Was The Condemned a WWE movie? Because
that was in most theaters,
that was a WWE movie.
That was the best one they put out.
I still think that is the best, and there will be people that will disagree with me.
The Big Show's movie, Knucklehead.
Oh, Knucklehead.
12 rounds, I think, got released in
12 rounds
a
was
decent amount of theaters.
No intention of ever seeing a John Cena movie.
Here's the
It was
thing.
Not good.
Not good.
No. Here's the thing.
Well, what else do you expect from a guy that was in the Fred movie from Nickelodeon?
Yeah, they are using
C-list
celebrities and pairing them with their superstars to make movies. WWE should not make any more movies. I'm sorry. They're not The Rock. They're not even Hulk Hogan.
No.
They can't make movies. Now, yes, is John Cena and Stone Cold probably better actors than Hogan? Yes. Here's
Look
the
at
thing.
Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom or Mr. Nanny.
Yeah.
But they're not The Rock. They can't act that well.
Look up Santa with muscles. You'll be very
The
disappointed.
next movie that they should come out with, CM Punk.
CM Punk the movie?
Yeah.
Now that would be funny.
Yes. just to go along with the storyline.
But we don't need any more WWE straight to Walmart movies. Look, no one, if they're they're making them, and obviously some people are buying them.
And the only reason they're only at Walmart is because no other self-respecting store will buy that garbage.
Exactly. So what happened after that?
And then after that, it just moved on to the main event with Del Rio taking on CM Punk.
Thought this match was okay. It didn't get a ton of time because
I think they're saving a lot of it too because they're going to eventually probably break off. And then Laurinaitis came out once again, probably for the sixth time on the show.
I'm still smoking.
I'm John Laurinaitis, Executive Vice President of Talent Relations, and for this segment only, I'm going to be Teddy Long, and I'm going to make a tag team match, player.
Yeah, I noticed that. He had to pull a Teddy Long and make a tag match during the match, and guess who's back? Miz and R-Truth.
It was
with the best. I have to admit, the best in-ring song ever.
Yes,
ever. I mean, it's good.
It was Del Rio and Punk
back.
versus Awesome Truth.
Yes.
It was very awkward, though.
It was.
Because,
It was not awesome.
Laurinaitis said, you will go against these two men who I just reinstated. Then there was like a solid minute pause.
Yeah, I think they were
Miz
supposed to
and R-Truth.
cue the Muse's
No music at all,
They were supposed to cue the
no
Miz's
music. Yeah.
So that guy got fired too. I mean, they fired JR, and then this guy, this clown, doesn't play the Miz's
put the
music.
music right.
Yeah, I mean, you want to fire somebody.
The whole thing with the walkout, I still think that it should have ended with like the Titantron shutting, like after everybody walked out, the Titantron shutting down, the arena almost going completely pitch black with a single spotlight on Triple H to show that even the sound and the light guys were just done.
I agree. I think that would have been a lot better. I think they got rid of Triple H as a COO too soon too. I think they could have kept going on with this whole angle.
Maybe until Survivor Series and put that up like
with The Rock somehow.
Yeah.
Well, do you think like in the match, the tag match, like they were only in tag for a few minutes, but Del Rio, I think he kind of was getting like a little like influence. He was getting some reaction from the crowd. Do you think he'd ever work as like a
face?
Yeah.
I think they were cheering for him because he was beating up the Miz and R-Truth.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. That was my
though?
first thought. Okay, we've got Punk, who's one of the most over people in the company.
Yeah.
And then we've got Del Rio, who's not really over, but he's a heel going against the two biggest heels in the company.
Yeah.
I think
that caused this whole anarchy.
I think there are fans. I like Del Rio. I like his entrance. I like his ring announcer. It's different.
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's different. It's good. And Del Rio could work.
I like his cars, I'll say that.
Yeah.
He's not the best talker.
He's a good worker, though. The guy
he's
is
not the best talker, but he
makes
makes up for it in the ring.
He has. That's why he has a ring announcer.
Yeah.
And if you notice, Ricardo Rodriguez made fun of the Oklahoma Sooners yesterday during the announcer. If you watch the show again, he's going Oklahoma Sooners suck. Ba 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 ba. It's just the funniest thing because if you listen again, you got to really pay pay attention, the crowd just starts booing the hell out of Ricardo. And he does that from time to time.
Bad.
He just throws it in there.
It's bad when Rodriguez gets more heat than Del Rio.
He does.
The ring announcer gets more heat than the actual wrestler.
He does. So obviously, this match is going on.
Del Rio left. So now it's a handicap match. And then CM Punk basically loses. Yes.
Oh, no. It was a DQ.
Yeah.
It was a DQ.
The Miz and Truth just kept
beating. The ref went to count, got to 1, and the bell rang.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're really cracking down on these beatdowns. You only get a 1 count now.
Get him out of the ring.
So that pretty much ended Raw. Oh, and then Triple H runs out, helps Punk. So now they're going to have...
They shake hands, get all buddy-buddy, even though they were at each other's throats about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yep. And then Triple H and Punk...
You say it makes you sick?
Yeah.
Makes you sick.
I don't like how Punk has went from this guy who's trying to make change and go against the WWE
I think he still is, but I think he's supposed to be...
Well, like what he said at the beginning of Raw. He said...
Triple H is not to blame. There's some higher power.
Like what he said at the beginning of Raw in the opening segment. He said, I was the guy who was going for change, but everybody else misunderstood me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what they're getting at. So either way,
now they're gonna tag up.
Yeah.
I called that when Triple H first hit the ring.
Yep.
Yeah. So whatever.
We see how Triple H changed his clothes too. He was just wearing a regular t-shirt.
Yeah.
And jeans.
He brought his ring gear, sort of.
But he wasn't using
a t-shirt and jeans. So that was Raw.
Fight ring gear.
I'm gonna say out of 10, I'd give it a solid maybe 5 or I wouldn't even say half.
I say
the main event was okay.
5,
like I said, I mean, it was a crap sandwich. The like Troy said earlier, the top of Raw good, the ending not bad, and then everything in
middle
between was
was
bad.
just junk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've already established 3 matches now.
How much time have we gone on here?
Almost an hour.
Well, let's. We were going to do a couple different things like
we're going to get to our this day in wrestling history.
This day in wrestling
history. Because I've got one heck of one for you.
Go ahead. Look at look. Just name the biggest thing that happened on this day. It's a bad day, folks.
2010.
Go ahead.
TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Sounds even better.
Tara laid down for Madison Rayne to win the Knockouts title.
Cue the music.
There you go. I think I think that's a good way to end the show.
Yeah, I mean,
just cue the music.
Nobody cares.
Nobody honestly cares.
It's TNA. Although the TNA Knockouts do work better than the Divas.
Okay, real quick. I'll start with you, Wes.
Okay.
What do you expect? What do you expect next week on, let's just say, Raw?
On Raw? Wow.
What do you expect after this show? Real quick as we wrap up.
How are they gonna further Del Rio and Cena? I mean, they haven't even had a confrontation yet in the last 2 weeks.
I believe the next.
We can go on about Del Rio
weeks.
and Cena for a little bit longer because I've got quite a few things to say to them. say about them. We can do that next show.
I guess we'll see where they put. Do you think Triple H will wrestle in a single match, maybe before the pay-per-view?
Yeah. I don't know. They got a week to build to it, so not a lot. Not a lot. Yeah. Don't buy this pay-per-view, guys. And Troy, what do you think about next week?
What do I expect from next week?
Yeah.
Not much.
Not much.
I go into every Monday not expecting much. I go into every Friday expecting even less.
Yeah. Well, next week we'll talk about the big TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view. We'll hit on that, and we'll also hit on this great Monday Night Raw that hopefully will happen Monday. I don't know. Until next week, we're out. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter.
Buy our soon-to-be-made T-shirts.
Yeah, go buy the Jomo Sapien shirt.
We out.
Maybe if he gets enough money, he'll actually get a good push. I mean, that's what got Zack Ryder his push.
Oh, see you next week.
Later.